Carriage Kia in Gainesville and Woodstock has up to $6,000 in rebates right now during the summer sticker event. New 2019 Optima, Sorrento, Sportage, Stinger, and Forte. 66 months, 0% for qualified buyers only at Carriage Kia, Gainesville and Woodstock.
Guess what? There's another virus that kills thousands each year, but this one can be prevented.
Find out why now is the time to get a flu shot.
We'll have all the details and more coming up on the Wednesday's edition of the Gwinnett Daily Post podcast.
It pays to know your doctor. It pays to know your lawyer. And now more than ever, it pays to know your local real estate professional. Hi, I'm Jeffrey Drake with Drake Realty, and we have 7 offices in the metro Atlanta area. I'm the proud leader of over 700 agents here in Georgia, and we pride ourselves in professional service, whether you are the buyer or the seller. Drake Realty makes the home buying process seamless from contract to close. Our agents are a little different. They're not pushing for the quick sale and close. They are pushing for the best price and terms for their client. In other words, Drake Realty fights for you. And right now, with the lowest interest rates we have seen in 30 years, now's the time to buy that dream home, vacation home, or new home your family deserves. A lot of real estate agents talk big. Let my team at Drake Realty prove they will fight for you. I'm Jeffrey Drake, and I'd be honored to have my team serve you. Visit us online at drakerealty.com. And remember, it's not how quick you sell or buy, it's what the deal provides for your future.
It's Wednesday, September 9, 2020. Welcome to the Gwinnett Daily Post podcast. I'm your host, Aaron Sutherland.
And I'm Amanda Lee. The Gwinnett Daily Post podcast is your hyper-local news on the run, brought to you 3 times a week by the BG Podcast Network and the Gwinnett Daily Post. But before we get to today's headlines, here's a quick look at Today in History.
In 1850, California enters the Union as the 31st state.
Audiences at the Fox Theater in Riverside, California get a surprise preview of Gone with the Wind in 1939.
And in 1956, Elvis Presley and his racy dance moved shockwaves across the nation during his first appearance on The Ed Sullivan Show. Now here's what's making news today.
As if the COVID-19 pandemic wasn't enough to worry about, the county's health director said there's another threat you need to be aware of, the upcoming flu season. Dr. Audrey Arona, director for the Gwinnett, Newton, and Rockdale Health District, said people should consider getting a flu shot as soon as fall approaches. The goal is to avoid overwhelming hospitals with 2 major viruses at the same time. Each year, the flu sends more than 200,000 people to the hospital. That number, along with the continued coronavirus pandemic, could quickly overburden medical facilities and staff. Dr. Arona says it's possible to get the flu and COVID at the same time, or right after each other. A healthy person who gets the flu is more immunocompromised than more likely to get sicker if they then contract COVID-19. If you need some assistance finding the flu vaccine near you, the CDC has a website set up to help, vaccinefinder.org.
A Lawrenceville mother and her adult children were shot by the daughter's boyfriend in Dunwoody Sunday night, according to police. The shooting happened at about 10:30 p.m. at the entrance of the Dunwoody Glen Apartments off Peachtree Industrial Boulevard. Danielle Sims was in an SUV with her daughter, Crystal Williams, and son, Malachi Williams. There was also a juvenile child in the vehicle who was not identified. Dunwoody police said Justin Turner allegedly cut the SUV off and fired a gun at the vehicle. Sims and both Malachi and Crystal Williams were shot, and the mother and daughter died from their injuries. Malachi Williams sustained non-life-threatening injuries, while the younger child in the vehicle was unharmed. Dunwoody police indicated Turner fled the scene after the shooting, but was arrested in Atlanta on Monday.
A dead man was found in a room at the Motel 6 in unincorporated Norcross on Sunday. Gwinnett police were at the motel investigating an unrelated incident when the staff asked them to perform a welfare check shortly before noon. Once inside, officers located 2 males, one deceased and one suffering serious injuries. The injured man was taken to an area hospital in serious condition. Police are labeling the death as suspicious and urge anyone with information to call Gwinnett County detectives.
In Dunwoody Sunday night, according to police, the shooting happened at about...
Find out why now may be the perfect time to seed your lawn.
Engineered Solutions of Georgia. this is Jay and Lewis, owners of Engineered Solutions of Georgia. Lewis, what should a homeowner do if they have a crack in their block wall, corner of their door, window, or concrete foundation?
Well, Jay, if it's a diagonal crack, this lets us know that they should be concerned and there could be a serious problem. Then they should call our office at 678-ESOG now and set up an appointment to have one of our qualified professional technicians come out to their property to take a look at the problem.
I'm consumer investigator Dale Cardwell. I've done the research already, so you don't have to. You can trust Engineered Solutions of Georgia.
Give Engineered Solutions of Georgia a call at 678-ESOG now.
Engineered Solutions of Georgia. We guarantee a stable, dry foundation. Dial 678-ESOG now.
Thursday is World Suicide Prevention Day, and Gwinnett residents are invited to participate in a community dialogue on the subject this week. Guide Inc. will host a virtual Let's Talk About Suicide community dialogue event from 4 to 5:30 on Thursday. Participants can attend the online event and hear from local experts, community members, and high school students on the topics of suicide prevention efforts and resources. There will also be questions and answer sessions with the online audience. The event is free to participate in, but pre-registration is required. Anyone interested in participating in the online forum can register at guideinc.org.
Enrollment in Gwinnett County Public Schools is lower than anticipated so far this year, but district officials are hopeful that the numbers will rebound as the school year progresses. The school system had projected having 181,268 students this year. An enrollment count conducted last week put that total at the time at about 5,000 less. Kindergarten and first grade have been key areas where enrollment is down this fall, with more than 2,000 fewer students than expected. The COVID-19 pandemic caused Gwinnett County Public Schools to cancel its May enrollment activities, which is one reason why officials believe kindergarten numbers are down this fall. It's also believed that some parents chose not to send their kids to kindergarten this year, or chose an alternative since children are not required by law to attend school until they are 6.
Now is the time to give your lawn new life. Garrett Crawford with the USDA has the seedy story.
Well, I guess it's time to pull out the songs about fall again.
When an early autumn walks the land.
Okay, hold it right there. She's singing about an early autumn, but this year in many areas fall weather's been late. But just in the last few days, some places finally have experienced some actual cool fall-like weather. And of course, for many of us, fall means just raking the leaves. We are inspired, though, to do other work on the lawn in the springtime. But one expert says if you have cool season grasses like bluegrass or tall fescue, when fall comes,
that grass really breaks dormancy and takes off and starts growing. It's a great time to get in there and do some work.
Dennis Patton is a Kansas State University Extension lawn and garden expert, and he says fall is the preferred time to do 3 things that most of us try to do in the springtime.
Fertilization be one. Here again, the lawns are hungry after the long, hot, dry summer. 2 would be if we've got some thin or dead spots, get in there and overseed or reseed the lawn. And the third practice that's really great done in the fall is something called core aeration, or aerating your lawn, which removes plugs of soil about the size of a finger out of the lawn that then helps repair the soil, loosens, breaks up the soil, also helps water nutrients move down into the soil for a healthy root.
Now today we focus on seeding or overseeding.
Seeding is an art and a science.
Mostly though a science. Patton says if you seed in the fall, you have a much better chance of getting a really good stand of grass, but not if you make a lot of mistakes.
I think the most common mistake people make is they don't properly prepare the soil.
Patton says do not just go out and throw out some seed on the ground and expect results. You have to first get that ground ready.
Make sure we get good seed soil contact. And that is usually done with a process called verticut or verticutting. And what this verticut does, it's a machine you can rent or hire someone to do, and it slices small grooves down into the soil that breaks through that soil crust in that thatch layer, and then it allows for that seed to fall down into those grooves. Then when we start watering, we get good seed soil contact, which in turn then lead to better germination.
So next we talk about watering, very important, not just a couple of times a week either.
Because our goal is to keep that upper inch or so of the soil moist at all times during the germination process. which is probably going to take a minimum of a week to 10 days to 2 weeks, depending on the type of seed and your soil condition.
Finally, Dennis Patton recommends what's called starter fertilizer, which has more phosphorus.
Because there is scientific research to back up that a little free phosphorus right around that germinating seed will help increase root development and growth.
So do a good seeding job now so your yard won't look seedy like mine does come springtime. And your newly planted grass will be much better able to handle the stress that'll come with the hot summer weather. Gary Crawford for the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Washington.
Thank you for joining us for the Gwinnett Daily Post podcast, your true hyperlocal news source.
Grab a copy of today's paper and visit GwinnettDailyPost.com for complete details on the stories we've discussed, plus more stories that affect you and the residents of Gwinnett County.
Subscribe and share this podcast to get all the latest hyperlocal updates, or ask Alexa or Google Home to play the Gwinnett Daily Post podcast for you.
Share your thoughts or questions with us in the comments section or call the podcast comment line at 404-997-8655. We might share your comment on an upcoming episode.
The Gwinnett Daily Post podcast is produced by BG Ad Group. Amanda Lee, producer. Jacob Sutherland, director. Copyright 2020. All rights reserved.
Brought to you by Toccoa Falls College in Toccoa Falls, Georgia. More information on TFC, call 706-886-7299 or visit them online at tfc.edu. That's tfc.edu. Since 1907, TFC, glorifying God through seeking and developing leaders who will impact the world for Jesus Christ.